Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Welcome to Gene Cannabis TV. You made the trip. Episode 732 and special guest tonight. I'm telling you now, we got Mercy TV out of Salem. We got Perry and Sonny here and PK's in the back filming the filming. Appreciate all the guys coming down, making the trip. And we're here to talk about old days and what's looking in the future. But we keep looking back and talking about how great it was, and that's what the main thing we want to talk about is how great it was and try to bring it back. We got to help patients. We need to help each other.
Yeah, I think the number one priority for cannabis people here in Oregon is to get the medical program back to the way it should be, which is to say that they got to reduce the fees, the rates on it. They've got to be able to expand conditions, add them without having an act of Congress and so forth, you know. And it all starts with attitude. Even the directors of the program hate the patients. They say there's too many of them and they're too demanding, you know. And every time that we even talk about it at all, we've got to go through spend all our time proving once again that cannabis is medicine, and they refuse to accept even that basic principle.
Well, one of the things, as you say that, the little gummy bears, for the last couple of days, I've been nauseous. And, you know, with my seizures, they give me the pills and all the stuff to take.
Prescriptions, yeah.
Oh yeah, I get bottles, you know, I get bottles that, Sis sticks in my big thing. You know, I get all of it, you know, you guys, but I don't do that. I get so many pills, I don't do that. It's so much easier to roll up a bunch of doobies so I can just take a puff and then I got a bunch of bags of those gummy bears because somebody came by and said, man, you gotta try these. So I tried them. Well, I tried them. And one day I took one and smoked my doobie when I went out. Well, it was pretty good. Well, I noticed the next day when I went out, I did this, man, it was pretty good. And like I was telling Sis, it was good. Yes, consistent. The next day, I don't know, I gotta talk to some more people, some more patients, to see if they got consistency, because I did.
So when you say good, though, what did it do? What was the good
Very
things?
consistent, you know, really good, very good, I could tell.
So what are the conditions that you take the cannabis for, though?
Well, it's the nauseous,
Right?
though,
But you're saying you're feeling
there's
nauseous.
so much, you know, but I'm not gonna get sick, there's just so much to it. I mean, I'm not gonna be throwing up, there's like this bag. I wanna say this bag. I wanna say, get your bag out. I wanna say your doctor's bag. I wanna say, go get your bag, you know? And I don't know, it's so much. You know, me and Sis got to talking about it on the porch the other day, and I said, this is where this whole thing started, when me and you and Dan started, when we changed the laws. And, you know, years ago, you know, when we changed the laws, you guys, that's where all this stuff started. You know, you guys, years ago, at voter power.
Right? You know, the discussions before we had the OMA
We
law,
did, you
yeah.
know, you guys, and John, and we talked about all of this and how we needed to change the laws. And
Well, too many discussions took place because someone who used cannabis was arrested, and we were defending these people in court, you know,
Yeah.
and having doctors testify and so forth. Even after we got the law passed, people were still getting arrested for it because their condition wasn't covered, or the number of plants, they were one plant over the line, sweet Jesus, you know, it's like.
you know, these are the things that we're finding, though, and this ain't right.
Well, we're not too far removed from that time, you know. It's good that the gummy bears are available now for folks.
But look how many people are so available in this state today. And look how many states there are around the United States and around the world. But they have that information, thank you, Perry, in the Mercy Center website and
Oh, yeah, we'll put
all
it
the
out
other
that way.
websites and.
But,
you know,
so, and, these are good things, but we shouldn't rest now. We shouldn't, I mean, now's the time to even, more, hey, let's end the war. Let's end the federal war on medical marijuana so that we can use it and doctors can prescribe it and it can be monitored then. There's nobody saying, hey, this shouldn't be monitored. And in fact, we dare you to, Hell, they've been killing and burying every study that, that's been made since I don't know when, and when they let them happen at all. And it's just, I have mixed feelings about how easily and readily CBD is available to folks. We fought so long and hard. Of course, I see that most of the companies who are successfully out there distributing it are led by rich white people. And so it's, I'm curious if all those poor black people that, were growing and using cannabis for its CBD properties, can get a break accordingly. So, there's a lot of problems in there with the system, and I think just getting rid of cannabis prohibition would be a big step, big thing.
Education.
And yeah, and how are we going to do that? We're going to inform and educate and activate, and that's what one of Mercy TV's mission is.
Voting.
Right. That's what we want people to do in the end.
And
Yes, November 3rd, for heaven's sake, get all your family, friends, everybody to vote.
Make sure you're registered
November 3rd.
by the second Tuesday in October.
Yeah.
That's a voter registration deadline here in Oregon.
Good point. Good point. I need to start pushing that more. Also, don't forget, federal felons can vote in the state of Oregon.
Right.
All the years I've been working tables, it's always amazed me how many people don't know that felons can vote in the state of Oregon.
Yep.
The majority of the people I talk to assume that felons can't vote, and that is incorrect. There's not only can felons vote in the state of Oregon, there's actually a law that states that they can vote in the state of Oregon.
Specifically, right.
So,
Worse, yeah, some people think any criminal record is
and I would say most of the felons I know have gotten screwed, and they should have a voice more than
absolute
anybody.
on this thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, everybody registering and everybody voting, let's get to the polls. There's going to be a great deal of voter disenfranchisement going on, a lot of gerrymandering, a lot of suppression, and so forth. So every vote counts, and it's incumbent on us, activists, to make sure that all these people that registered actually get to the polls and make sure everybody they know gets to the polls, and get that.
Send in their ballots.
Get that thing signed and sealed and into the mailbox, If you can just help somebody get it from that living room to the mailbox even.
Well, when you're informed and you're talking and and you're sharing that information with each other. And when you're sick or somebody that's sick, and there's other things that you can be sick about, and those pills make you sick and you get sick, and there's other things that you get sick and they cause sickness, and there's other sicknesses that you get, and there's really bad sicknesses they cause. And see, cannabis is natural, and it builds your...
Yeah, it's interesting, all these artificial things and the vicious cycle that they get you on, and yeah, fix it, get rid of them, use the natural cannabis.
When the cannabis is natural and it builds your body, it makes you strong, and that's what's good about it. And there are so many good things, and when you're voting and getting a good cycle, it lets you know what's going on in your community, and that's the good thing about it.
Well, you want to be informed so you can, that's what you're talking to your friends and your family and your neighbors and coworkers and people you just interact with through the course of the day at a socially safe distance. And, you know, that's why voting's important. That's why registering and helping everybody you know, irregardless of your political affiliation or any other perceived differences, we're all in this mess together. We all benefit from the freedom to use medical cannabis. You know, we're not having law enforcement resources spent rounding these people up. We're not putting them in prison. They're benefiting society by many of them having a life, going to work, producing, you know. And so we got to explain this to folks, because the folks that don't benefit directly from it many times don't get it, and don't see how the war is costing them. You know, by doing nothing, they're enabling the war, and that's why. Register, vote, get everybody you know to do so also, then get everybody you don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
you can use cannabis many ways other than smoking it. You can rub it on, you can eat it, you know, there's so many ways you can use it.
Well, that's a very important part of the education process, particularly when folks educate their doctor, you know, the nurses, other medical professionals, the home health care providers, the hospice people.
Well, depending on what your problem is.
Right, depending on the condition, because you may just need to apply it topically, you know, even have to take it internally, you know, so.
Well, because you have whatever your issue is, you know, or you know somebody that has it, you know, these are the problems, you know, because, see, that's why it's so important about the education. You know, we were talking about it the other day, about using the suppositories and using them properly.
Yeah.
Well, because you can get rid of that cancer quickly, or you can get rid of it a little bit long, you know. Well, because that cancer might be around a little bit longer, or you might get a little quickly, you know.
Right, the effectiveness, efficiency, right?
Well,
It's like, I like the phrase, you can't spell healthcare without THC. It's a better visual than it is for you, but if you look at it, there is THC right in the middle of healthcare.
Right,
So,
I like it.
it says it all right there.
It's truth.
Yeah, definitely, yes, it is a medicine. And that's the thing that I've always been amazed is older people that never thought they'd use marijuana, and then they get a medical ailment, and all of a sudden they're using it.
Yeah.
And they're coming out of it.
I mean, through
I've
the
seen
years,
that over and over.
as we've helped people to that realization, you know, it's all kinds of feelings, you know, ranging from, you know, teary-eyed realization that it's a miracle. I thought I'd never be cured, and and then to, it's almost like a reverse death, you know, to grief and then anger. I would have been denied. Why have I suffered? I've watched loved ones suffer and die needlessly.
In fact, Rick Simpson, Run from the Cure, that's what it's all about. People want to run away from you, running. Anyway, check it out, Rick Simpson, Run from the Cure. It's very educational. We're coming up to the end of our first segment here, so we got to take off and take a break here. We just, before we go overexert ourselves, so we're going to be right back. So I hope you will be too, and check the second half. Welcome back to the second half of Gene Cannabis TV, episode 734. You got your host, Dank, here, and I think in the first episode, I didn't think to mention these guys by name. They are Mercy TV, and this is Perry, am I right? And PK down on the end that just jumped in, and that was Sonny that just left our first segment. And these guys are heroes, have been at it for a long, long time. And they used to come down and be on our show quite a bit, and I've been up on there a few times, and we're going to make it next week. We're going to go up to Mercy TV, and I got the right time now. I'll be there on time this time.
Well, it's at our house now. The studio hasn't opened up
Yeah,
yet.
so we'll work out all the arrangements of time and place, but yeah. So
You bet ya. So we're looking forward to that. Going up this Friday to be on the Mercy TV, and then we'd like to go around to Kaiser and go to the PGN Lodge and check that out, their new location. So I'm looking forward to that. Great people up there, and that is something to behold. An actual place that you can go in and use cannabis. Talk about freedom.
And so that's one of someone was asking about resources in Salem. That's one of them. They used to have so many that someone was running a tour of the
Wow.
shops there in the area.
Huh.
So those were the glory days, I guess. Would be interesting to take an inventory now of the places, especially given the virus effect on things. Although I hear a number of shops were considered essential
Yeah.
and left going. So
Well, yeah, and I understand the pot shop is doing very well, actually. It's an interesting phenomenon, the way it turned out. When the dispensaries first opened up, I thought to myself, look at how many dispensaries there are, and I wonder how many are going to be here a year from now.
right,
Well, here you are several years later, and not only there's even more than we ever imagined. We've got 2 or 3 sometimes in the same block.
well, of the pot shops, sadly,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dispensaries, the places that
exactly.
cater to the patients, and a lot of folks say, oh, who cares, what's the difference, no big deal. And I think the difference is the quantity, the quality, and many times the type of medication that's dispensed. And a critical part of that was done initially was allowing people to bring in their excess so that patients can consume that, you know, an interchange network.
Welcome to Gene Cannabis TV. You made it back with the second half, episode 734. You got Dave here, your host, and I think I neglected to mention our guests. I did mention Mercy TV, but not by name. And we got Perry beside me in the middle here, and then we got PK on the end. And we had Sonny earlier that was in North City, where PK is sitting now. Appreciate the guys coming all the way down to Mercy TV, and they're also from the Mercy Centers. And how about a quick mention quickly about Mercy TV and Mercy
Other activities, sure.
yeah, what you guys been doing just for people that just showed up and started talking, or just showed up, you know, and haven't heard about it.
Right, well, it's Mercy, the Medical Cannabis Resource Center. We're based in Salem, and we're a nonprofit organization that helps folks with the issues with the medical cannabis program, and you know, getting your card, finding a grower, getting to grow, best methods on medicating, keeping renewed, and helping to further the program where you're at. We started off, of course, just taking care of Oregon, and have grown over the years to where we have a web page set up for all 50 states and some 35 countries now, where people are asking the same questions. You know, how do I get the law in my area? How do I get medicine now while the laws change? You know, where are legal resources? What are legislative resources? And so forth. And Mercy TV is in conjunction with CCTV of Salem is one of our action items to help inform and educate people and as to medical cannabis's not just benefits but safety portfolio, you know. So thanks for having us on and the opportunity to come and network, you know, the information that we want to get out to people to help them to live better lives and healthier and hopefully more active, you know.
That's right. It's all about spreading information and getting the word out. So many people are cynical, saying medical marijuana is just an excuse to smoke pot. Like the conservative Lars Larson out of Portland, he calls medical marijuana patients dope smokers.
Right, addicts
Yeah,
is another term they like to use.
Yeah, and so we're still fighting the same prejudices even before it was legalized. And I always kind of snicker when I talk about legalization because everybody, we're all happy that it's legal. Well, it's not legal, folks. Wake up. You know?
Right.
There are still penalties involved, so it's not legal.
Yeah.
It's decriminalized to somewhat, but it's still illegal. So,
Right.
that's something we need to keep fighting for, and I don't know where the troops went, but we're still there. We're still in the trenches.
There you go. Well, they all went off and partied. Everybody was happy that they hit this point, and I think they're still celebrating, you know, because not easy, you know, it's not very profitable work.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, when I see these big stars, you know, they're all of a sudden in the cannabis business, you know,
Right.
and I'm thinking, well, that's great, except where were you when we were in the trenches fighting and didn't have anything to work with except what we could scrape up ourselves,
Right.
you know? Where were you, you know? So now that it's legal, here you are out here with a banner and smiles, and we're still struggling.
right, well, we need that kind of action now, you know, to
Oh, yeah.
try to fix the program in Oregon, you know, or at the same time trying to end cannabis prohibition at the federal level and get that boot off our necks here in Oregon and indeed around the world.
Well, the best thing now for medical personally is work with groups like Mercy. There's people out there that are actually still working with that. There's a group in Salem that from the old Oregon Green Free group that are still meeting. I haven't been up there yet myself to get to their meetings, but I've been meaning to. Great people. So there are a few little pockets of people that are still doing what we've always done before, and we just need to keep it up. Because let's face it, the state of Oregon, the legislature, the governor, they don't care about marijuana smokers.
No, in
They
some
don't-
cases are extremely anti.
They've proved it, yeah, they've proved it over the years, and so we keep kidding ourselves and hoping that it's going to improve, but it isn't. So we have to continue doing it ourselves. Even before it was legal, we had a heck of a system going where even though you couldn't exchange any money, there was still a lot of people getting their medicine and it was working.
Right, networking, you know?
Yes, it was incredible. The thing I've said since I've been an activist in over 20 years is that I've been amazed by two things about cannabis. One is how generous people can be, how generous patients can be in helping each other. And then the other side of the coin is amazes me how greedy I've seen people can be. Because when you talk about money, that's when the whole thing, everything starts to get changed and start looking ugly. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the reality. So again, we need to work together, and if you are a medical marijuana a person that uses medical marijuana, reach out. Look on Facebook. There's a bunch of great groups on Facebook.
Right, yeah.
There's, of course, I should have a list of them and naming it off. I can't think of them at the moment, but they're out there, you know. And,
Yeah, the internet's still a good tool for finding them and all.
yeah.
Caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. You know, another thing folks can do is just simply put up some paper around town, you know, rent out a little hall, find a place, a lot of places you can utilize for nothing really, and put up some paper, hey, meeting here, medical cannabis, the issue. People will come, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can network resources, you can talk about needs, and you can organize, get it so you get everybody there registered and voting, and we get real change, not just here, but all over, you know. Yeah.
Definitely. So, yeah, helping each other, and that's what it's all about. So anyway, now I was mentioning earlier Kaiser, PGN Lodge. There's also one in Portland. There's the Northwest Cannabis Club, which I've been to too.
Okay, yeah.
And it's a little bit different. They have a $20 lifetime membership, and then it's $5 a visit, which
Okay.
is reasonable. The PGN Lodge, I'm not sure, I haven't been there for a while, but they've got a new location. But there in the past, they charged just simply $5, and you could go in and utilize their facilities. No alcohol, of course. They sell snacks and that kind of thing, but
Edibles.
music events going on there, and it's incredible to be able to go to a club where you can actually have live music, socialize with your friends, and use cannabis. It's just talk about freedom. It's just so relaxing, and such a change from what it used to be, where even after it was okay, we had medical marijuana. Well, okay, well you can't smoke in you can't smoke in a public place. Well,
Right.
that was always a kind of a thorn in the side, you know, because so okay, you got cannabis and you're free to use it, but can anybody see you?
Not really, yeah.
So yeah, so we just instead of hiding it, we need to bring it out. It's just it's a
And that's
fact.
kind of the way it is now, you know, folks say, we're free, but you can only grow 4 plants.
Yeah.
And that's just for the temporarily, you know, they can roll in and say, nah, we changed our minds, scoop everybody up, who's gone and done it, you know, in a manner thinking, oh, hey, it's free. Well, it's not, you know, and,
It
again,
takes time and patience in growing the plants.
people's tax dollars are still being spent trying to prevent it.
Oh, yeah.
You
And
know?
by the way, it occurred to me, I wanted, PK, could you speak a little bit on your medical use and how you came about and what it does for you?
I made up a healing oil that relieves the pain from the carpal tunnel. I use it all over, on my hair, my wrists, my legs and my back. But you don't have to smoke it.
Mhm.
And you make it, it's an easy process. It takes 28 days. You get a jar with a lid and you add in your cannabis. Hopefully it'll be the flower.
Mhm.
But if you just have a leaf, even if you have stems, it can be used. And you want to let it soak, stirring it several times during the day. But it's amazing how some people have immediate effects.
Mhm. What kind of agent or extractor do you use?
I use olive oil, but if you have any oil, the cooking oil can be used if your money's not.
Any vegetable oil, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever's handy. But you keep it in a cool, dark place when you're storing the batch. And the healing over is over 15 years old.
Nice.
Yeah.
So keep that match circulating.
That's another thing I want to bring out too is that a lot of people that haven't seen the show for a long time or haven't seen it before might not have heard your story, but PK is a head injury victim, and because of some of the side effects of that, he's been stopped twice for drunk driving and actually charged, and had to fight it, and then prove that he wasn't drinking. And that's the kind of prejudices that we have to fight against.
Dr. Lebeck testified on both trials, and they ridiculed him dearly on the second trial
Yeah.
because of the opinion on cannabis and how he was helping patients out and letting them get the quantity of medicine that they needed.
Also, PK wrote up an excellent, I don't know what you call it, statement.
Testimonial.
To the governor, which of course she completely ignored, but she had just read it and thought about it, as you know, but anyway, it's there.
Mhm.
So we just have to continue on our own. We know the truth, so we don't need the government telling us, and we just need to move and work with what we have. Before, it was illegal, and we were making it work. Well, now it's, quote, legal, so we should be able to do it even better now. We just got to get the people together and working together. That's the whole key.
Well, hopefully, one of the things they'll do together is register and vote and get everybody they know to do so also, and get some real change at the highest levels, and, you know, get the willingness of folks in government to simply govern and serve the people instead of ruling them and putting them through one shakedown after another.
That's right.
Which is what cannabis prohibition is. It's one big freaking shakedown.
Yep. We've come to the end of our show. We need to wrap it up, but we appreciate the guys coming all the way from Salem to be on our show. And I hope you're inspired. Contact us. I'd love to have you come on the show. Come and tell your cannabis story. We all need to hear it. Other people could benefit from what you've lived through. You're not the only one that's living through it, so come on the show and talk about it. You got Dank here, and again, Perry, PK, and Sonny. We appreciate it, and we appreciate the crew here at the station. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
MercyCenters.org.